The Diamond broadcast is live. Wow. Okay.
Where's Derek?
Where's
Waiting
D?
for Derek.
Boom, boom, boom. Is what it is. Right. So, hey guys, sorry. Hey guys, carry on so long without me. Okay. You are live. Continue so long without me. Cool. Anyway, good evening and welcome to hashtag Soccer Colored Style. You with me, co-host Ashlen, and we have Morden on the line as well, and Derek, who is currently busy at the moment. Yeah, we've got Morden on the show for tonight. Morden, how are you? Can you tell the people about yourself? Maybe a brief
Hello,
introduction.
hello guys. Hello. Good evening. I'm a FPL legend. Nah, I'm just soccer fanatic. I'm part of the
Mhm.
group here on Colored Style, and I'm also in the private league Game of War, representing Game of War. So yeah, I've played fantasy for a while now, and everyone knows my name, the legend. So, but unfortunately, this season is not a good season for me. But anyhow, I just love playing the game. Yeah, and I'm enjoying the soccer so far.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for that, man. I'm also with you, and I must say this season, like every year, it's getting more and more difficult to like predict who is going to make points for you. You know, you more or less know the kind of teams that's going to score a lot of goals, but it's always difficult to pinpoint like who is going to score, who's going to assist, like and lately we've seen a lot of teams like chipping that last minute goals. You know what I'm saying? So so based on fantasy, like how have you been doing? Like how's your team doing at the moment? And do you have any tips like who we should look out for in game week 8?
Um, to be honest, Island, like I said, I'm not. My team is not doing very well at the moment because I've made very poor decisions using my wildcard very early in the season. But hopefully, I will bounce back. Um, I have some tips, but I don't I don't want to give it all away. But anyhow, I think we should really look out for players like players who's under the radar, and I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about Sean especially. I'm not sure why his ownership is that low. Because he's very consistent. I've seen his stats, and even though Spurs are not on a good run, if they don't perform in a game, Son always deliver points. So I'm not sure why people are not getting Son in their teams, and I think that is what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna get in Son, and before it's too late, and also Gallagher from Crystal Palace always been on my watch list, and he's also very consistent. And I think his price is 5.7 if I'm correct. So a lot of guys going for the expensive midfielders, and I think we should look out for the cheap midfielders that's more consistent.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, like so this is a difficult one. Like he's sort of like just under the radar. He's there, but you don't take note of him. And because he's playing in his first side that's not really doing that well at the moment, and then you have Harry Kane, who's like always like he's on everyone's lips when it comes to Spurs. But Son, he's always been there, and he's a very consistent player, and he's been consistent like throughout his Premier League career. Like you can have a look at his stats. He scores like at least 10 goals a season, and his assist tally is like it's looking decent as well. So I agree with you with Son. He's like a sleeper, you know. You sleep on him, like you don't see him. He's just there, you know. And then one or two game weeks, you just see him like score 2 goals each game week, and they're like, wow, it's been a while. Like 'cause you know he's there, but you just don't take note of him like, at all. So, I just want to say hello to Ruan, Malcolm Ferris. Good evening to you, Ruan as well. Where is Derek go? Yeah, so I agree with you
I
there.
think
You mentioned something. You mentioned something about them, like people just going for the high profile players. Um, I have a question for you. Like, you know, when you drop down to rank, when you drop down the rank, you need to like try to find a way to climb back up. And in fantasy, it's easy to start well, but then when you don't start well and you start dropping points, like how do you get back up? Like how do you join the guys on top again?
funny you should ask that question because I'm currently I'm in that situation right now, and
Mm-hmm.
I think you need to understand that there is a rule that says you must go with a few premium players, and then you must go
Mm-hmm.
with budget players, and you cannot. Okay, there's one mistake I've made, and that's not having Salah in my team. First of all, do not sell Salah. Always get him in your team because Salah is Salah. He's the king of FPL. And I think I'm going to buy Salah back again. And then I'm going to try and get in players that's more consistent. I've already named Son. He has scored in, I think, he has scored points game week 1, 10 points, game week 3, 10 points again. Um, Game week 6 and 7, he scored 7 points and then 10 points again. So that's very consistent. So I think everyone should try to look out for the players who's giving points on a consistent basis. And if you want to catch up to the other people in your mini league, I think you should first of all check. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm checking what players the other guys have in their teams, who's doing well, and then I'm trying to not copy the team, but just try to get in those premium defenders. I mean, premium players, because if you don't have them and they bring in a lot of points, then you are going to drop and lose out on that point. So you have to have a few of the premium players in your team. That's a must, and then you can play around with um like the cheap guys who's delivering points on a consistent basis. I think that's basically what I'm going to do, and I think that's what other people also should look out. And the other thing is the captaincy choice. That's another story. Every week I make a captain choice based on emotional decision making because I love Bruno, I love Lukaku, and based on fixtures. But I think we shouldn't look at the fixtures. Lukaku has
Mm-hmm.
great fixtures, yes, and I captain Lukaku last week and he didn't deliver for me. So we need to look at the players um, form, and that is what you need to look at before you decide to captain a player. Don't captain someone because you think, okay, this guy is playing against Brighton or against a team that's Norwich City that's going to have a lot of defensive mistakes and so, or has a lot of problems in the defense. Look at how consistent the play is, and also look at the form of the team, and that's how you make your captain choice. Because I think that that is where I made a mistake by captaining Lukaku, because he faced I cannot remember who Lukaku played against, but it was a low team, a weak team, and that was why I was captaining Lukaku. So unfortunately, it didn't work out for me.
I mean, I also captain Lukaku, and At the time, it felt like a good decision because I mean it's Lukaku, and he had a couple of opportunities, but tough luck. It didn't fall for him at the end of the day. But I also think that like Lukaku was a great shot, and they have decent fixtures, so it just makes sense to keep him in your team. Um, yeah, there's something I want to add because I'm more or less in the same boat as you because I'm also like the way down the pecking order. I'm not on first page. I'm on the second page. You have to scroll down to see my name. Um, I think it's difficult, like captaincy is. It's difficult to catch up to a team when they have Salah and Salah scores every week and Salah brings in points every week. Like it's difficult. Like I think you have to basically cherry pick the games where you think Salah might not score. Like and this week it was one of those weeks where Ronaldo he was like one of the most captain guys and he didn't score. Actually, he didn't play. And then he got on like he wasn't in the starting lineup, and then he got on for 1 point. So that means he made 2 points. So if Lukaku had scored like two goals, like we would have been, we would have jumped like two, three, 400,000 ranks easily because we kept the Lukaku. So everything worked out. It's just Lukaku didn't get over the line. That one way he hit the bar and stuff like that. But everyone, I think many people took the captaincy of Salah because I mean they played City, and you don't expect that to be a high scoring game. But it was the opposite. It was 2-2 game. It was a tough game, and I think Salah is a player you can just put the captaincy on him, and he's going to score you 25 goals a season. He's always going to be there in the golden boot every year. You'll see Salah running for golden boot. Every year. Like you don't see United players running for golden boot. Like they here, like down seventh, eighth. But Salah, you always see that man there on top there. So and he's a midfielder. So yeah, I agree with you there. Salah he's not a one season wonder anymore. This is his third season, his fourth season where yeah, he's just performing. I do have a couple of points here, but I'm waiting for Derek to come through. I'm using my phone, so I can't use like share screen and stuff like that. But let's see if it's gonna kick me out. Yeah, it definitely kicked me out. I want to use something. Anyway, I have some
Islan,
news here. What can you hear me?
I also forgot
Okay.
to mention in my introduction that I'm a United supporter. That's very important. I forgot to mention that. So for you guys who's listening, who's online now, I'm a United supporter, proud of it. And my rank is over, I think 3.6 million in fantasy. That's very bad. So I forgot to mention those. And I also agree with you with Salah. He is definitely a must-have because every season he will contest for that golden boot. And the other thing is, Klopp said that I'm not sure if everyone watched that game, but the goal he scored was amazing. I mean, uh, Klopp said that if Ronaldo or Messi scored that goal, and everyone was going to talk about it, but it's Mohamed Salah, so no one is talking about that goal.
Hmm.
So it just shows you that Salah is actually a bit, I think, under the radar, and everyone is not really seeing the talent that he has brought to bring into the Premier League because everyone focuses on Ronaldo and Messi. But if you look at Salah and how he plays and how he scores the goals, is I think he's also at the top level. So you cannot like uh, not have him in your team.
Yeah. Let's see. Wow. Derek wants me to share my content. I can't share the content because I'm using my phone at the moment. Like so that's Unfortunately, I'm on the mobile, and I also don't have that much time. So something I want to speak about. So Brazil, they are playing three games at the moment. Like they're playing three games this. Before we get into the Newcastle takeover, like I want Derek to be present for that. So Brazil and Uruguay, I think, are playing three games this this international break, and the last game will take place on next week Friday, which is like a day before the fixtures kick off again, game week 8. And some of the Premier League teams they have asked like Brazil and Uruguay to let the Premier League players go just after the second game. I think which it should be like Tuesday or Monday or Tuesday. So what do you guys think of that? What do you think of that, Morden and Derek, where they actually pleading the teams, the national teams, to let their players go because they obviously won't be back in time. They will be back in time for the fixture, but they'll be so tired they won't be able to play. The likes of Fred, Edison, Allison, maybe like your Brazilian players. What do you guys say about that? Do you agree with it?
Um,
They should let them go.
I I would love to see that the teams let the players go, but I don't think it's gonna happen because I mean look at okay, that's I think it's wishful thinking to think that the international squad is just going to let the people go because I mean it's but unfair because if other players are playing in other leagues, why shouldn't they also request to go and play for their clubs? It's a bit
Hmm.
unfair. But if I could have a say in that, I would love to see the Premier League players return after their second game because obviously I don't want them to get injured because I have a few of them in my team. So
Hmm.
I think it's wishful thinking, and I'm not sure if it's going to happen. Um, in Brazil, I'm not sure. Yeah, okay, Brazil. I'm not sure which players are actually going to play international break because I'm not really following internationals. I always focus on the clubs and I only watch the injury news and the highlights of the international game because I want to know how it's going to affect my fantasy team or my selection of my team. But yeah, like you said, there have been requests to um, let the English players leave earlier, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. Like I said, I think it's wishful thinking.
Hmm. Awesome. I also want to read out Ruan's comment here. He says, I think I'm the worst fantasy Premier League manager. Laugh out loud. Every time I add a player who shows some form, the form drops as soon as I bought the player. Morgan, what can you say about that? Do you have anything to say about that comment? Every
I'm
time
just reading it
he
now.
buys a player, and then the player's forms drop. You know this, eh? This tale. It's an old tale. Yeah.
Okay, I see. Um, there's something that happens to all of us. But the thing is, one rule you must not forget is patience. There's something you have to know. If you get in a player and the player doesn't perform, you have to stick with that player for a few weeks, or I mean, yeah, for a few game weeks, um, to make a um like Lukaku. I brought in Lukaku, he didn't perform, he blanked. But if you look at Lukaku's fixtures, he has good fixtures. So I'm not going to sell Lukaku and bring in someone else. So I think you just have to be a bit patient with the players. Sometimes they will drop in form, but it's it's about patience. That's the main thing
Mhm.
about this game. If you bring in a player, you must really rely. I mean, have patience for that player to bring in points for you. You cannot just expect the player to score big points in one or two game weeks for you. So, and the other thing is do not jump on that bandwagon. If you see a player perform and then you want to bring that player in, because at the end of the day you cannot chase the points of last game week. You cannot do that. If the player performed well, then um you must just say to yourself, okay, I've lost out and I must look forward. But do not try to chase points of the previous game week. That's not gonna happen. So first of all, don't chase the points of the previous game week, because you will be disappointed bringing the player, bring him in, and then he's not gonna perform for you, and then you want to let go of the player again. So yeah, otherwise if you already brought in the player, then you must have patience. That's all I can
I see.
say. Hmm.
Um, I totally agree with you there. You can't chase last week's points, right? Um, because you can't make up for something you missed out on like a previous week. And for me, it's always form over fixtures, like always form over fixtures. And it's like you have to notice when to jump on the train. You know, like you have to be ready to jump on the train. And if you jump on the train early, that means you're going to be a week or two ahead of the other people. So it's just like I think it's an element of taking a risk and being lucky at the same time. You know, just to stay on top. So yeah, let's talk about okay CR7 underperforming. Okay, I'm gonna answer this question. I don't think CR7 is underperforming. I just think that United are underperforming as a whole. Like we don't create enough for the striker. Like look at Salah for instance. Salah gets like two, three, four goal scoring chances a game, and you don't see that with Ronaldo. You see Mason taking shots, you see Bruno taking shots. So I just don't see them scoring. I don't see him scoring a lot of goals with the way that United are playing at the moment. Okay, something big happened today, guys. The news came out this morning that the Saudis they want to buy and they're ready to buy Newcastle, the club, and the stadium as well. And news came out earlier on that the deal the deal is done. They have bought the club, and the club is now under the Saudis, the trust fund. What do you say about this more than? Okay. So the question is, what's your opinion on this, and how do you think this will affect the Premier League and the top teams? Because this guy,
Well,
he is about 20 times richer than City's owner. What do you
I,
think?
I think I think we all knew this is going to happen at some point, because there was a lot of talks and the process was already on ongoing, and it was just a matter of time. But my 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 honest thoughts and opinion on this is, I think the Premier League is on a next level, on a top level, in terms of competitiveness. And I think personally that if Newcastle can also be, I'm sure overnight things is not going to happen for them, but everyone thinks Newcastle is just going to be a club that's going to buy all the big players now, and then they're going to perform better than maybe Arsenal, Spurs, and all those other teams. But I think that's not going to happen. But it's good for the Premier League to have another big team, because we want that competitive side to the Premier League. I think um, I've seen on Twitter, Elon Sears said a tweet where he said, "Make Newcastle great again. It's time," something like that. So I think with the new bosses there and the money there, I think they're going to kind of replicate what Manchester City has done over the past years, and there's going to be a problem for a lot of teams, because we know City they are very successful, and I think Newcastle is going to get there with time. and be one of, I think, one of the top six teams in a few years in this league. And I think it's going to be healthy for the Premier League to have another team that's going to be
Mm-hmm.
also competing, because now Newcastle um, have enough money to bring in all the good players, and also better coaches, better managers, scouts, So they are definitely going to um, uh, be a big club in maybe 5 years' time, but not
Um,
immediately. I don't think they're going to immediate like just be better.
I agree with you saying, and like more money is better, for the league itself. It's going to become more competitive. Yeah, they're going to have a lot of money. They're going to buy a lot of players. But I mean, Newcastle is in the north of of the UK, and it's pretty cold there, so it will take money to persuade them. But anyway, the point that I want to make is it is still difficult for them. It's going to be difficult for them to adjust, because they're going to get a new manager. But I don't think it's going to take them 5 years. I think it might take them like 2 years or something like, or maybe a season and a half. Like maybe three transfer windows, including this one and two more transfer windows. So maybe in a year's time, you might see them like getting into the top six, because you can build a team, whatever, but if they don't have the manager to play the kind of football, then I mean, at the end of the day, they're not going to succeed. So I think that's the first thing that they are going to do: get in the top manager, play attacking football. Because the aim of we all want what they want, right? We all want what Newcastle want. We want an owner, our club, in United. I'm sure Derek will agree with me about Arsenal. We want them. We want owners that want what's best for the club, right? And if they want the club to be winners, they're going to bring in the best people to manage the team and the whole football club as a whole to be winners on and off the field, right? And that's what's going to happen with Newcastle. We saw with City. Um, City basically replicated like what Sir Alex Ferguson did, like buy players. If they're not good enough, sell them, bring in more players. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what's going to happen, and I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. Right. So okay, so Ruan says the kind of money Newcastle have at their disposal is scary to say the least. That's enough money for an instant success. Yeah, for instant success. Yeah.
To jump in there,
Um,
Rowan, like I said, or like Islan was telling us now, you have to be competitive in the transfer window. So, and you must be able to persuade all the best players to come to your team. So first of all, I don't think they're going to get in the players immediately, or like you said, instant success, because we know like the other big clubs, Manchester City, Manchester United, Chelsea, there are already players lining up to join these teams. I'm sure I know, like if you have a lot of money, then you can obviously give the players big wages, and that's also
uh-huh,
something that like you said, is very scary, because team players nowadays goes for the bigger contracts and the bigger wage.
uh-huh,
So there's some truth in it, yes, instant success, but like I said, maybe in a few years, because the first thing they need to do is try to get in a top manager also the coaching staff, and you cannot really rely on individual brilliant players. I'm not going to talk about some some other team called Manchester United. You've seen us play. We have a lot of great players, but the coach we have doesn't have like the tactics to let all the players like um, play like a team. If you look at the likes of Liverpool and Chelsea, the players play well together. And United, does not have that, because we kind of rely on the individual talent of the players. So if Newcastle go that route, I'm actually sure that I'm very certain they are not going to um, be successful if they don't first start by like upgrading the manage the management of the club, the coaching staff, and also maybe better tactics and focusing on like how is the team going to play now, the style of the play and stuff like that. Because you cannot just bring in Mbappe, Messi, or that big players and expect, okay, now look, Newcastle is going to be a top four or top six team. So I think it's a process.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks more than for your input. It yeah, it's gonna take them a while. I agree with you, and time will tell. Um, Derek wanted to know about fantasy Premier Captain. I think next week is that's something to discuss next week because like we don't have fantasy or we don't have Premier League at the weekend, so maybe next week Thursday. So so yeah, guys, this was just like a short, brief, some updates that we brought to you guys, and as well as the takeover of Newcastle. Morgan, do you have any last words? Anything you want to say before we close up?
Um, yeah, like Derek. Okay, obviously there's a few international games coming up, so
Mhm.
we just have to wait and see how the injury is going to be, or maybe the health of the players before we can make that comments regarding the captaincy and stuff. So I don't think we should like give any tips now on that. We should wait for the internationals to play off. And the other thing is going back to the Ronaldo um, comment. I agree with Islan. Ronaldo is not underperforming at all. It's just the quality of service he's getting is not enough, and
Mhm.
it's the team that's like disappointing him to score more often. He only played a few games, so only two games when Ronaldo blanked. So we cannot really say he's underperforming. Maybe if
I see.
he blanks in two more games, then I would consider and say, okay, I think everyone should get rid of Ronaldo. But for now, I think Ronaldo is still one of the best finishers. But
Mhm.
unfortunately, United is not like playing the football Ronaldo needs. So yeah, that's basically from my side. Captaincy choices. I'm just going to stick with Lukaku. Yes, nice fixtures. Salah, he can score in any game. So yeah, and just wait and see what's going to happen in the internationals.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Moden. Yeah, this was it. This was a nice chat, and thank you for joining me and Derek, who's just there in the background. I just want to say thank you guys for for your input and thank you for commenting. And I just want to ask one favor from you guys. If you're watching this video, just smash a like on the video and comment and say thank you, something, whatever. Anyways, yeah, guys, we will see you guys in about a week or so. And yeah, have fun, guys.